Voices of Faith is an initiative of the Fiedel Goetz Foundation. We bring together talented women, Catholic women. This is like our contribution is that we bring these women here, we're going to listen to them, and they're going to share what they do.
Welcome, bienvenidos, benvenuti, willkommen, heartily welcome, namaste. To International Women's Day, we're celebrating Voices of Faith for the second time.
With regard to the stories which touched me most, the sister from Argentina who works on trafficking, I think this is an extremely difficult work.
There was trafficking of babies for international adoptions. After 2 years at last, we successfully changed the government through legal elections.
I think what I liked specifically is that she said, you learn leadership. I'm completely with her.
It is important not to remain silent. We need to speak and no longer be ashamed, no longer be shy. We need to fight this solitude. We need to make pressure upon governments.
I was particularly touched by Hatun.
And that is my adverment. Okay, anyway.
Of course, when she put her suitcase on the table, that totally threw everybody off. But the fact she said, I can do everything I need to do with what I have in this bag.
So I am carrying few things because I'm used to carry normally many luggage, but the few for me, they remain for the poor people.
And her comment and her conviction and her dedication.
Now in Iraq, 5,000 girls and ladies, they kidnap them, they're selling them, human trafficking for sexual using. Because of that, I could not stay on chair more, on the couch sit and not do nothing. With a prayer, but also with action. I believe in solidarity by action, not by word.
Suad, she became the first primary school teacher who was a woman in all of Kakuma camp.
So I was thinking that was an awesome story, which really touched me.
So every time again, I used to tell my mom, I want to go to school and be like any other child. I want to see them. I want to see them going to school and having those uniforms.
And how an internet education has really reformed and changed the youngsters' lives.
And I was promoted, I became a senior teacher. From the senior teacher, I became deputy. And from deputy, I became the head teacher.
I think that I can take it back and use it very, very effectively in my work.
Especially the Jesuit, that really made me cry.
Sub-Saharan Africa records the lowest enrollment ratios of girls. It is horrifying that children are simply killed for going to school.
He could feel what those girls were going through, and to have a man to see it from that perspective.
There are millions of Chibok girls whose singular gifts will forever be lost to humanity.
I loved his humanness, the humanness was coming from his heart.
Because of our short-sightedness. Because of terrorists who turn our schools into abattoirs of civilization, any civilization.
Whispers of faith, sweet.
Where will the women be tomorrow? The conversation of the church today, the role of women, how do women get to the table of decision making?
Murmurs of faith, like songs from your childhood, the tender voices of faith.
Our daughters look at us and say, but Mum, why on earth would you hang on in a church like that?
United if we share. Can you feel it? The flame that's been ignited in the air.
I believe that the real value of today is that it restores one's faith in humankind and in the church.
And I think the networking that has happened, meeting people who are doing so many things, I was quite impressed to see so many of the women here, CEOs of various foundations, and how committed they are to give back to society.
It was also a good opportunity for us to continue to be exposed to the very real, daily, consistent, unfair suffering of millions of people.
And I congratulate Chantal and the Voices of Faith for bringing this initiative forward and creating the opportunity so women can be heard all over the world, in this room as well as outside.
It has become an event that is noticed, now being noticed worldwide thanks to some of the publicity on it. And I personally have been getting calls from New York and other parts of the United States who over this weekend have read about it.
And Voices of Faith was and is and will be, I am sure, one of those places and spaces where we start within the church to hear and to listen to each other and start the conversations.
Because all the speakers and the organizers, we bonded so well, got to know each other, learned something from each other. I think that is very, very special.
I'm really taken by the courage that Chantal has exercised and shown here. She is really breaking new ground for women in the Catholic Church. She brings in women from who are doing some of the hardest work in the planet.